What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and today I'm going to be predicting the outcome of Sebastian Fundora versus Carlos Ocampo, and this is going to be a 12-rounder for the Interim WBC Super-Welterweight World Championship, and this fight is going to be Saturday, October 8th from the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California, and this fight is going to be broadcasted on Showtime. And again, both fighters' resumes: Sebastian Fundora, fighting out of the United States, holds a record of 19 wins with no defeats and one draw, with 13 wins coming by way of knockout. He's currently ranked number 2 by BoxRec in the Super Welterweight division, and he's also the current reigning and defending Interim WBC Super Welterweight World Champion. So to list his one blemish on his record, it was a split decision draw against Jamonte Clark, and that was a few years ago. But to list some of his best victories, he has a knockout win over Nathaniel Gallimore, a knockout win over Habib Ahmed. He also has a knockout win over Jorge Cota, a unanimous decision victory, which was slightly controversial, over Sergio Garcia, and he's coming off the best performance of his career, although he did get dropped, which was a stoppage win over Erickson Lubin, and that's where he won this interim title that he does currently hold. But to get into his opponent's resume, Carlos Ocampo, fighting out of Mexico, holds a record of 34 wins with 1 defeat and 22 wins coming by way of knockout. He is currently ranked number 20 by BoxRec in the Super Welterweight division, and he is also a former IBF welterweight world title challenger. And to list his one and only defeat, it came by knockout in the first round against Errol Spence Jr., and that was the time where he did challenge for the IBF title. But to list some of his best victories, he has a unanimous decision win over Jorge Garcia Perez, a unanimous decision victory over Johnny Navarrete, and a knockout win over Mikhail Zuzki, which was a very impressive win in my opinion. So in my opinion, this fight is pretty easy to predict. Although when you look at both these guys' records, you see 34-1 versus 19-0. You think it's going to be an excellent, completely, really competitive fight. But I mean, really, it's not going to be a competitive fight. I mean, Sebastian Fundora, I think at this point in his career, he's getting better every single fight. And I definitely think I'm sold on him as being one of the top 5 guys at 154 pounds. Like, leading up to when he fought Lubin and all these other guys, I was thinking, Fundora, I mean, maybe it's just because of his height. I mean, really, his height does obviously play a big impact. He's 6'5.5" as a 154-pounder, which is massive. I mean, some people say he's up to like 6'6", 6'7". I mean, really, he is a massive guy. So he's like right around like 6 feet or 6 foot 6 inches tall. He's 154 pounds, very lengthy, very long. Obviously, if he's going to be 154 pounds, he's going to be very long, very thin. I mean, I love watching Fundora fight. He always puts on a great show. Like, when he fought Lubin, I was picking Lubin to win. And when he fought Sergio Garcia, I thought that Garcia won close. But still, I mean, in that Lubin fight, he did really show a lot of heart and really showed why, and really did prove me wrong. He showed why that he's a real established guy at this weight. I thought that he was sort of getting matched a little bit easy against some of these, although they were fairly high-ranked guys like Cota and Gallimore and Garcia. I mean, they weren't like as established as a name like Erickson Lubin. And then when he fought Lubin, he dropped him early and beat him to a pulp late. Even though Lubin did drop Fundora, he still beat him up and made his face swell like a balloon. He got a very solid win, showed a lot of heart, got the job done, and really put grit into that fight. Showed that he had some dog in him, and that was a tremendous performance in my opinion from Fundora. He did show that he's a real guy that you don't want to mess around with at 154 pounds, and I think that's what he is. I think he's definitely a top 5 guy, and I think that in this fight, it's just going to be an easy little showcase for him, and then maybe in his next fight, he could fight for the major world titles against maybe Jermell Charlo, someone like that. But, just first, how I see this fight going down, I think that Sebastian Fundora will get a stoppage win over Carlos Ocampo. And just to break this fight down round by round, I mean, I honestly don't really know how Ocampo is going to approach this fight, because usually he likes to come forward on his opponents. And the thing is, I think he might come forward on Fundora just like Jorge Cota did. He might land some big shots, but Fundora has shown that he has a very solid chin. He could take some big power shots, and it's going to take definitely more than just one punch to knock him out. That's what he's shown so far. So I think that in this fight, he's going to primarily be the much better technician. He'll be landing counters, obviously. On the inside, even though he's a much taller guy, he works very well on the inside with his short uppercuts and short hooks. And that was really working against Erickson Lubin, landing those short uppercuts that was really hurting him. And I think in this fight, he'll utilize that. I think that Ocampo, being that really the only style he knows is coming forward, I think that he's going to try and come forward on Fundora and really try and land big shots on him and just try and get him out of there with a puncher's chance. But, I mean, I just think that Fundora, it's going to be very similar to when he fought Jorge Cota. Just land big shots on the outside, break him down continuously with big shots, and ultimately get a stoppage win. And I could see... I don't think it's going to be as much of a high-paced fight as that one because there's a title on the line. I think Ocampo might be a bit more intelligent with his defense and whatnot than Jorge Cota was, but I think it will be very similar to that where Fundora is landing big shots either really, I almost just said on the outside, but for him it's not even like it's on the outside because he's literally standing right in front of his opponents, but his arms are so long that it keeps a lot of distance. So, I mean, really Fundora is just going to be snapping that big right hand out, big 1-2s, uppercuts, really just trying to keep Ocampo at bay, trying to keep him away from him. I mean, if Ocampo does go on the inside, which will probably end up happening, I think he'll just utilize his very good inside game, and that's for Fundora. He'll utilize those uppercuts, utilize those hooks, and I think he'll ultimately get Ocampo out of there. Anywhere, I think, from rounds 4 to rounds 8, like the middle rounds, I could definitely see Fundora getting a stoppage. So, like a mid-round knockout for Sebastian Fundora. I could see... Leading up really to the stoppage, I think Fundora is going to be up very, very wide in this fight. I don't really see Ocampo winning any round, to be 100% honest. I just think that Ocampo is just completely outmatched in this fight, despite him having a very nice-looking record on paper of 34-1. I just think that the level of competition he's faced just doesn't really meet the requirement to win this fight. And I just think that his style is just really tailor-made for Sebastian Fundora because he's already shown that he could beat guys with that style. So I think that he's going to utilize, obviously, his God-given attributes with his height, his reach. He's going to utilize those physical attributes, get the job done here, and I think he'll ultimately stop Carlos Ocampo. And it could be a standing stoppage, could be a corner stoppage, could be a brutal knockout. Nonetheless, I think either way it will go down as a knockout win on Fundora's resume, and it will go down as his 20th victory and 14th KO. So, yeah, if you're predicting this fight, comment down below who you think is going to win, by what method of victory, and what could be next for either fighter, depending on who you think will win. So, overall, I believe that Sebastian Fundora will defend his interim WBC Super-Welterweight world title, as I think he will defeat Carlos Ocampo by knockout from rounds 4 to rounds 8. And, yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.